Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, help me to continue to grow. Today I got a story for you guys, brought to you by CNN, and I also searched a couple other sources. Jeffrey Sandusky pleads guilty to 14 counts of sexual child abuse. The 14 counts included soliciting sex from a child younger than 16 and soliciting child pornography. There's two victims. From what I got from the article, one girl told her father that Jeffrey asked for naked pictures constantly, and then another another victim they were several years apart. She said that Jeffrey asked for oral sex. What I think makes this case interesting, and what I want to talk to you guys about and have a conversation, and maybe you guys can share your thoughts with me. Jeffrey Sandusky is the son of Jerry Sandusky, who has a 30-year sentence for molesting 10 different boys. And usually in cases like this, right? I mean, let's just think about it for a second. Like, this is my thought on this, right? Like, when somebody gets caught with something like this, right? When that person's caught, you're just catching him right there at that moment. So Jerry Sandusky could have a lot more boys that were molested, but they're not speaking up or afraid to speak up. And with that being said, 30 men have settled lawsuits at Penn State University over sex abuse claims, which is interesting. So there's 30 men that have settled. And also Penn State had to pay out. Penn State, from what I've seen on two different sources, one source says 60 million, another source says 93 million that Penn State had to pay. The reason they had to pay, I believe, allegedly, is because I was reading some of the story about Jerry, and a lot of the people at that school, administrators or whatever, they knew what was going on, and they gave it a pass, or they told them, hey, don't bring any more kids, and they just kept sweeping it under the rug. So they're partially at fault, definitely, for this. So I just think it's really interesting. I wonder if the son, Jeffrey, was abused when he was a child, possibly. Another thing that's interesting in this case is that Jeffrey is adopted. So he's one of 6 adopted children from Jerry. So, and Jerry is the dad, just make sure things clear, and Jeffrey is the son. So I just thought that was really interesting. And also with this guy that got caught soliciting sex and soliciting child pornography with the 2 females, or maybe there's more cases, but they only mentioned 2 victims. Like I was saying earlier, there's probably a ton of more victims. I'm sure it just wasn't 2 people that he decided to reach out to and do that to, 2 kids, So I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. My question is the dad, Jerry, why do you need to adopt 6 children? Like, I would kind of like maybe look into those kids. Were they abused by this guy, allegedly? I'm just wondering, like one out of the 6, he was one out of 6 adopted children. And what are the chances that the father is a child molester, abuser, and that this guy, Jerry, potentially is, Jeffrey's a son. Jeffrey potentially is also. The good thing that came out of this case, if anything came out good out of this case, is that the son that has the 14 counts, he pled guilty a week before going to court. So that's kind of cool, I guess, for the victims, so they don't have to go through the whole court process and sit there and go through everything that they went through in detail all over again for hours and hours and hours. But I just wanted to give you guys an update and let me know what you thought. My question to you guys is, okay, do you think that, just think about it. This guy, Jerry, the dad, he was an abuser, a child abuser. He is a child abuser. Over 10 different boys and over 30 men have settled lawsuits, right? So if you're a child abuser, what would stop him from abusing his own kids? And those kids are adopted. So, I wouldn't be surprised if those kids were abused. And it's like a cycle, man. It's like a never-ending cycle is what it seems like. A lot of these cases, from what I've heard, from what I hear, they were abused as kids. So I wonder what Jerry, the dad, what his life was like as a kid. You know, feel sorry for all the victims. But the weird thing too, the interesting thing with the Jerry to the dad, the case, I was listening to I was reading about one of the victims, and the victim was saying that he was, showered with gifts. And that's one of the things that Jerry did. He would shower them with gifts, take him out to dinner, to events, and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I guess my final thoughts would be very vigilant, watch your kids, don't trust anybody. When I was reading about child abuse, most of the time it's somebody close to you, somebody you know, somebody you trust, somebody that kid trusts. It could be a friend, family member, family friend, church, pastor. Like, just the list goes on and on and on. And usually, not usually, I shouldn't say usually, but a lot of times too, these people are in a position of power that you would never think could do that. So don't be fooled. Be very vigilant and cautious, and protect your kids. Take care, guys. Peace. Smile. You smile. Yes. Yes, my love. Love you. You big girl.